Hello, friends. YouTube says we're live. That means we should probably believe them, right? Just finishing the last cut on our first project of the night. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. Whether you are here live or watching on the replay, I really do appreciate you joining me. I am quieting all of the things. And then we can get started. I apologize that I did not get them all quieted beforehand. Okay, well, apparently all of the things except for the cats. Because that part's gonna be a minute. Alright, 1 second. Okay, all the things are quieted, so we should be good to go. So, welcome. I already said that part. Thank you for being here. I know I already said that part too. And I would love to know that you're here, so pop in to the chat, if you will, and YouTube does require that you are logged in to be able to chat, so that is a YouTube thing, not a me thing, and I would love to chat with you on the live videos and even send you messages afterwards if you're watching on the replay. I really do appreciate your participation. It helps me know that these are things that you guys like. So, that being said, let's start with our first card. It is super simple. I do have a Cricut cut. There are some thin cuts that we have, stamps and thin cuts for a leaf like this, and I don't actually have them, so I just pulled up a Cricut cut really quick. Let's see. It is so the number for this leaf, let me write this down for you in case you're interested in this specific leaf, is M473AB. And that is in the art booking set. So if you have purchased the art booking, then you have it in your set. If you have Cricut Access, you have it available to you. And if you don't, you have the ability to purchase just that one image if you'd like. And it does come with the 2 layers. All right, so I'll go ahead and put that there in case you guys need it. And let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to be using this wreath set that we used last week, Z7067 Occasional Wreath, and we are using it for the sentiment "Thank you." We will be stamping in espresso ink, and let's start with our pieces. So we have our envelope and card base from the value set. I'm gonna move this out of my way now so I can see. We have a piece of White Daisy 4x5 1/4. This paper is from the current Mix-In paper pack, and this piece is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is 2x6, 2 1/4 by 6. Large enough for the envelope flap. We have, oh goodness, this piece is from this kit. What is it called? The Good Life. So it is this paper here. And this is 3 by 4 1/4. This is Acorn paper, 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. We have just a scrap of White Daisy that I literally pulled out of my scrap bin that I've shown in videos in the past. So this is just a smidge over 1/2 inch, but a 1/2 inch would probably work just fine. So it, however long you need it for the stamp, it literally is a scrap. 1/2 inch by, technically it's 5 1/2 inches because that's what was easy. And then these 2 pieces that I cut, and I did cut them at so if you leave it square, the larger piece with the stem is 2.3 is the size. So let's go ahead and do the things. So now originally I was not going to have the thank you on the banner, but my ink did not show up quite as well as I would have liked, which is fine. That happens sometimes. And it's not that it's not dark enough, it's how busy the paper is. And so we're just going to stamp thank you 3 times, and we're going to do everything that we can to make them straight. So you will probably see my head in camera. I apologize. So if you feel the need, you can put this in a MISTI so you can adjust your paper just a little bit. I am just eyeballing it, just kind of lining it up and then moving up enough so that it's got some space between. And it's probably not perfect, and that's okay. And that is all of our stamping for this card. All right. Now let's go ahead and glue together our leaf. And I actually flipped one of them because I was going to use front and back of the Acorn cardstock, but it was not quite dark enough for my liking. So that means we end up using the light side of the espresso paper, and that's okay. Goodness. So just a little bit of the blue Tombow. I could use a tape runner, but it is just so much easier to line things up with a liquid adhesive. And you can finagle things around a little bit if you need to. Okay, so that guy is dry. So let's actually put the glue on here so that doesn't get everywhere. Apparently I had a spot right there, so at least that, let's put there by that. Oh, you know what? I fibbed. We do have one more stamping to do for our little banner. There we go. Now we're done stamping. Okay, now we can glue on some pieces. I highly recommend when you're gluing on a piece that is a full front that you line it up along the folded edge of your card base so that if you need to trim any of it off, you don't have to worry about accidentally trimming your card base fold. Right? Just, you know, minor details. So I will say that this holder casing is slightly wider than the Tombow, and so placement is just ever so slightly different. So you might run off your paper the first few times you use it, which is not a big thing, but just, you know, something to be aware of, like I keep doing because I'm not used to it yet. So there's a good amount of space right here, probably a quarter of an inch. Yeah, almost 1/4 of an inch between the edge of the tape and the edge of the roller, and so it's super easy to be off when you are putting your glue down. So something to pay attention to. Oh, did I run out already? No, there's still glue in there. I didn't think I'd used it enough. So this card goes together super fast, which I love. So now we need to kind of trim this down depending on where you stamped and where you cut and whatnot. So I'm just going to trim off a little bit. And I tried using my scissors when I was making the sample, and I was not able to cut a very straight line for my banner edge. So that's why I brought in the little tiny little fiskars. So I'm going to just line this up. Yeah, I think it's a little bit low if I do it for the bottom thank you on this card. So apparently on my sample I stamped my first stamp up a little bit higher than I did. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up kind of where that middle thank you is. And then just trim it off. Okay, some foam. Do you guys use foam tape in your projects, or are you team flat cards? Which there's nothing wrong with flat cards at all. So don't think by me asking that I think there is. As a matter of fact, my next card has no foam on it. So if you are new to my videos, I do tend to add more foam than many crafters. So you do not have to add this much foam. This is just what I do. You are welcome to add this much foam or even more foam if you would rather. And then just put that down in the center. And then last but not least, we'll add our leaf onto the front. You could pop this up with a little bit of thin foam tape if you wanted. Alright, card is done. I'll just add our glue. To the front of our envelope, and we will have a beautifully decorated envelope. Alright. Have you guys started doing crock pot meals yet? We did a chili last week, and it actually got warm this week. It's 75 plus degrees outside, and we're actually doing a Mississippi roast today. And let me tell you, my house smells so good right now. All right, card number 1, all done. Super quick and easy, inside, outside, and our envelope. And when I store my cards so that they're ready to go, I do tuck them just like that. I tuck my card like that, so I know that that envelope goes with that card, and they're super easy, ready to go. All right, next. Needed a quick drink. All right, next up we have another super easy card. So our card and envelope, it is that season. It's October, so it's time to start thinking about Christmas cards and whether or not you send them out and how many you want to do and blah, 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 blah. So this is a fun card that, yes, opens like a regular card, but this front bit opens as well. And you can put a gift card there, or you can leave off the pocket in the gift card and you can have another note there. You can put some cash in there, like any number of things you could do. So, let's get started. Let me go ahead and move this. All right, so I have lots of pieces. We are going to be using pine ink for our sentiment. We are going to be using our Misty tool because the blocks that are big enough for this are kind of heavy, and so we're not going to use them today. So this is Z7066 Home for Christmas Scrapbooking, and so you can see we have some fun stamps and thin cuts on here. These are presents with different decorations for the presents if you wanted to do a second layer of stamping, and the ribbons are all thin cuts. They're not stamped at all, and so that is super fun. So we're not using the presents today for this card, but I mean, you could do All Things Merry and Bright, have it up a little bit higher, put some presents on there. It would be super cute. Okay, we have lots of little pieces here, so let's see if I can get all of them. I'm gonna have to measure some of them because I know I don't remember all of the piece sizes. All right, so we have our card base and envelope, again from the value. We have a piece of white daisy, 4 by 5 1/4. We have a 2-ish by 6 for our flap. We have a 4 by 5 1/4 of the Christmas paper. It's Home for the Holidays. What is this called? Home for Christmas. I was close. So the Home for Christmas paper collection. And so the sample has the fun poinsettias, and I think for this card we're going to do the random images because that's kind of fun as well. All right, so we have 1/2 inch by 4 inches for the inside piece. Where did that go? Here we go, for that piece. And the front, this is 1.5 inches by 3 inches, and this is going to be for the pocket if you decide to use it. We have this piece, which is 3 1/4 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4, so it'll fit directly on the front of the card. We have 3 1/8 by 4 3/8, so it fits on the front. We have 3 by 4 1/4, 3 by 4 of B&T and White Daisy for the front and the inside, and then 2 7/8 by 3 7/8, not 7/8, quarter. 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 for our sentiment on the front. And that's all of our pieces. All right. So let's stamp first. I do have this all set up, of course, ready to go. And of course I just moved everything right into the way, so let's move it out of the way. Take our front piece and line this up. My Misty sock went for a walk, I think. Nope, there it is. I found it. Okay. I noticed part of it was not inked up right before I put it down. And I do kind of like the darker inks in the Misty because you can clearly see once they get pressed down onto the paper. Kind of like the old school rub transfers. Like you could see when it came off that paper. You remember? The dark ink does kind of the same thing. Alright, so now it literally is just gluing things together. So I didn't add any fun decorations, any fun bling on this. I could have, and we still can, right? That would be super easy. It would just be deciding, you know, what bling do you want to use? Do you want to use red bling? Do you want to use clear bling? or other colors? Do you want something else so it pops out a little bit more? Alright, let's let that dry for a few moments and let's put some of this together. So like I said, I'm going to use the other side of this paper just to have some variation and to remind you guys that it's super easy to do. Like every paper choice you have, there are multiple options. All right, inside done. Have you guys started on your Christmas cards yet? Or are you trying to avoid them at this point still? Oh, you know what? This is 4 by 5 1/4, not 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I don't remember what I said at the beginning of the video though. So, in case I said it wrong, I apologize. All right, like, isn't that super cute? I think it's just so adorable. All right, moving on. Piece. Let's move this. And this is just all about the layers. And we are just centering everything. Nope, there's still some in there. It just wants to be difficult today, apparently. I don't know that I'll get all of the cards with what's left, but we'll see. We're gonna try. I did make this front one smaller so that you could still see the green B&T paper underneath. So you could put this is a whole separate piece, right? So you could put this smack dab in the middle. And if you are trying to see something on the paper or not see something on the paper, like, you could 100% move it around, move it all the way over to one side or the other side, or, you know, and it could vary on every card. So if you did a whole sheet, so you can do 6 cards, not counting the envelopes, from one sheet of paper. So if you did, I think you do 8 cards with envelopes. I'm just quick guessing on the math. I'm not actually doing it. With the 2 sheets that come in the paper pack for the fronts and the envelopes. Now, if you did the the envelope, one of the other papers, like the green paper, you could do more cards. You could do 12 cards and use up 4 out of the 6 sheets that you get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So anyway, which is not too bad considering. Alright, so let's see. I didn't decide where I actually wanted it. I kind of like the mailbox, but I really kind of like the tree too. You know what? I think I'm going to do it right here. So voila. So you could be done with your card right here. Okay? And it all would be good. Now, if you wanted to, we can add our little pocket, and I will show you a trick for this. Now, you can add it down here if you'd like, or you could add it up here so that the card tucks in like this. Obviously, it would be glued down. It's not yet. Right, so you could do that. That would most definitely keep this down and closed due to the weight of the gift card. But that's up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and put it down here at the bottom like we did on the first one. And here is the little secret that I did. I took a scrap of white daisy and I ran tape all the way down and then flipped it over and did the same thing on the other side. Peeled it up from my desk. Make sure there's no glue on my desk, and yes, it did kind of peel up some of this, but that's okay. Took my non-stick scissors and I'm going to cut a strip that is not perfectly straight, which is fine. We just want it close to straight. All right, because this is going to be hidden. Alright, so now I have a double-sided strip. It's approximately 1/4 of an inch. Let's measure. Yep, pretty darn near perfect. Well, okay, we know it's not perfect. Who am I kidding? I just tore off some of my tape. That's okay. So we are going to stick this down super close to the edges. Alright, so before I go across the side, I want to look and see, is there one part that I want top versus bottom? And there may not be in this, there isn't really in this case. Okay, so I'm going to go across again. This is where my stuff peeled. That's okay. We'll go ahead and peel off that piece. So it's only sticky on one side on this piece. That's okay. We have more glue. So I'm just going to add just a tiny bit of liquid glue. All right, so we have 3 sides for our pocket. This will do 2 different things for us. One, it creates extra stoppage for our gift card. And 2, it creates extra room for our gift card. And 3, we don't accidentally over glue. Right, because we had that conversation about our glue and where it should go and whatnot on our paper, right? But if I set this down here, there's not, yes, I could run this on there, but it would be super, super close. And it would put extra pressure on the glue to pop up off of our paper. And so we clearly don't want that. And so this allows it to have a little bit less pressure on the paper because it's lifted up just by that one layer. So our one layer of White Daisy is thinner than our gift card, right? And so it allows it to sit in there really nicely without any puckering or bulging or anything like that. So it can close very, very nicely. All right, those are a little bit sticky. So the other thing you could do too is you could have just, run the first line of glue down the first side of your scrap and glued that down, and then added some liquid glue on top of that before you glued it to the paper, instead of 2 layers, the front and back of the tape runner. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, and voila, card number 2 is done. Beautiful. And you could do this with any paper. You could make this birthday or whatever. Up to you. All right. The last card is a little bit more detailed and a little bit less difficult, sort of. I know you can't see this. One second. All right, so this is one of our stencils in the core catalog, in the essentials catalog. We renamed them. So we have 2 12x12 stencil sets. So this is the second one and the bottom one down here. And we are going to use the little square stars today for our card. And we're gonna do some oh my gosh, blending. Yeah, that's it. That's the word. Okay, so I'm actually actually going to flip this around and set this down upside down, and then we're going to talk about the other things that we're going to use. So we are going to use the October stamp of the month, and this is something new, or has something new. So we've had the stamp of the month forever and ever. Probably not always, but ever since I started almost 15 years ago, there's always been a stamp of the month, and it's gone through various opportunities on how you can get them, and this is the second ever that has had thin cuts that you can get. They released thin cuts in the past for one of them, and they sold out super fast. And I believe it was one of the punny sets or animals. It was tiny little animals of some sort. And it was a long, long time ago. And so they're trying something new where you can get thin cuts. So you have the ability to get the stamp set without the thin cuts, and it's the same as that has been forever. So when you place a $50 order or more, of course, you can get this stamp set for $5. If you are a VIP, you can get the stamp set for free. Plus, with that $50 order, I put this up in the group the other day, in my Facebook group, and I don't have this up. Let me see if I can find that really quick so I can give you the right numbers here. Alright, so alright, let's back up a little bit. So you can buy this, no thin cuts, full price, $19.95. Okay? You can order $50, and we're going to use that $50 number for these numbers, okay? So you can order $50 or more, of course, and get this for $5. Or if you're a VIP, you get it for free, okay? Plus, when you're a VIP, you get your 15% credit back to your account. And so with $50, that's $7.50 that you get credited back to you on a future order. Okay? So there's bonus number 2. You can get it for free. Bonus number 1. You can get $7.50 back. Bonus number 2. Okay. So if you want the thin cuts, you can order the whole thing. It's like $37.95. I have the book right here. Let's look. Does it? Wrong book. $37.95. Okay. So that price is stamp and thin cuts full price. Okay. So if you place your $50 order and you want the thin cuts, it is $22.95. Whether you're a VIP or not a VIP, it's $22.95. So, yeah. So there's a little breakdown for you on the stamp of the month with thin cuts. So all of these little guys that you see in blue have thin cuts for them. Okay. So it would be cool if the little leaf did too, but I mean, we can't have everything, right? We can want to, but all right. Oh, I need one of these guys. lose him. Let's try to not lose him. Okay, we are also going, so from the stamp set, we're going to use this cute little owl and thanks for owl you do. Alright, I have him stamped already, just to make things a little bit easier. We are going to use the Perfect Portrait and Bright and Vivid color pencils to color him with. We are going to use Periwinkle ink and the blending brush to do our blending for our background. And let's, and one more thing, and the black Le Pen to do some line work. So this is the card and envelope that we're going to do. This is inspired by my friend Melissa. She did a card very similar a number of years ago with a previous owl stamp of the month set. So hers were slightly different colors, and that's okay. This is why it's inspired by. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have a card base. Let's grab an envelope. Goodness. All right. Card base and envelope, and 2 pieces that are 4 by 5 1/4. All right, so we are going to go ahead and put this in here. And kind of line this up. Pretty much like this. So I just have 2 pieces of washi there to hold it in place. Cap this off on the side. And then just do circles. And I'm slowly getting lighter as I go down. Okay. And that's our card front all done. It's nice when things are that simple. All right, so we're going to put another piece in here, same spot. But we're going to go lighter. This is going to be the inside piece. So we only want a little bit of ink. So that whatever we write can still be easily seen on it. Okay, and then we're going to grab our envelope, but before we ink it up, we are going to mask off the front. Now I know on some of my previous videos we did kind of go ahead and overlap onto the front, which you can do on this one too, if you'd like. I'm just using a couple of post-it notes. So we obviously want to make sure we don't go onto the leaves that are there, because that's not what our card is about. So we have that, and now we're just going to move it down. Oh no! I didn't do very well at that, did I? Well, let's try something really quick and see what we can do. So, first up, we can try our eraser. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Today it doesn't. Alright, the other thing I do have in my drawer is a sand eraser made by Tombow. And that is not going to work today. So, let me show you what you would do if you didn't screw up, and just keep going on. So we're going to line up the ones that we've already done and just come in and add the few that we didn't get because our stencil needed to be a little bit longer. And so we do have a little smudge there, and we can decide later if we're okay with that or not and go from there. And if you're not okay with it, that's okay. It just means that you need to either use a different envelope, or you can use a piece of paper, scratch paper, printer paper, and do the stencil and then cut it like we did for the other two cards. So, next up, we are going to color our little friend. And what you can do is, some of these colors down here at the bottom are not quite correct. Like, we'll use this one for example. This is Vanilla Tint. And if you see there, I don't know how well you can see. Not really the same color. So you kind of want to go by what you can see on the pencil leads. All right. So let's go ahead and use natural brown, and we'll do dark umber for our little owl friend. And then amber glow for his beak and feet. And then we'll choose a different color. So this was deep ruby. So that was this color for his hat and scarf. So maybe we'll do a different color. So these pencils will cover and color over your stamped image. So if you want it to be super dark and black, you want to make sure to color inside the lines. So I am coloring super light with this particular color. And I know it's a different color than what I used on the first one. I think. Maybe. Maybe not. So you can do circles, you can do lines. It is best if you are coloring a large area, like we are here. It is best if you can create a flat surface on your pencil, because you'll have fewer lines show up in your coloring itself. So it also means that you cannot readjust how you have a hold of that pencil, which, depending on each person, will depend on how difficult that is. Some people may find that harder to do than others. Like me, I really want to kind of roll my pencil. And then when you're done with your area, you might find that, like me, you have one side that's darker than the rest. And that's okay too. You can totally do that as kind of a shadow type thing. Okay. The more color you put down, the darker your color will be. I know that just sounded really stupid, but you can put down light color, right? Light pressure or dark, like I did, and then you can even go over the dark again and make it even darker still. Okay. Now, this is the same blue that I used, as Azure Blue. I just thought it made his eyes pop. And yeah, Owl's eyes don't look like this. We know this. Let's see. I I've not used this purple very much. Let's use this. And yes, I am pressing fairly hard because I want bright, vibrant color, which is easy to do with these pencils, by the way. So that's fabulous. So it'd be fun to make a whole kit, or a whole set rather, of these cards and just do different hat and scarf colors, maybe different eye colors. It would be super easy. It doesn't really take a whole lot of time either. Okay. Let's put a little bit of washi tape on here so that this does not move. Run this through my machine over here. And voila! We have a beautifully colored little owl friend. And so that I don't lose this, I'm going to put this back. Because I definitely don't want to lose it. That would be terrible. Alright, so let's add some foam to our little friend. Alrighty. And stamping. Now I realized after I put this together that I should put my little owl friend on this side so it could be looking at our stamp sentiment. So that's what we're going to do this time, using Archival Black. Try to make sure it's straight. Voila. It's always fabulous when it actually works the way you want it to. Alright, we're going to let that dry. We are going to take off our masks. And bring in our pen. And we are just going to add some lines. Feels like it's been forever since I've added any doodle lines to anything. The best part is they do not have to be straight. And if you get them too not straight, you can add another line so they overlap. So you have two doodle lines. All right. Smudged it a bit because I wasn't paying attention. Only a smidge though. Alright, inside. And last but not least, popping up our little friend. Voila! That is card number 3. Not too shabby, right? Adorable cards. And they went together pretty quickly. And you could make a ton of these. This would be easy, and you could use a different stencil background for each one. There are multiple stencils in the book, right? So let me show you real quick. All right, so we have these stencils, but we also have, all of these stencils. So these are meant for slimline cards, but you could easily add them to the front of an A2 card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And these are, excuse me, these are sized to be the card front. So those are all super fun. And you could even, like, this would be fun. You could use irresistible paper. Like, that would be so fun. It's kind of the opposite of stenciling. It is white daisy paper with clear embossing on it, so when you put the ink on it, it resists the design that's on there. So you have sprinkles, daisies, plaid, hearts, stripes, and a leaf design. And so that would be super fun. But anyway, those are our cards tonight. Bring them back in for you. For a second, I thought I put that on upside down. I was going to be super sad. So these are our 6 cards for today. So I thank you so much for joining me. I do a free class every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific, and we make 3 cards, sometimes more, depending on the design and how it all works. So thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye.